Hey friends, today we're going to discuss some squat technique. I had a friend message me and ask me if squatting too low was a problem. So I decided I would hop on, we'd make a video real quick about squat technique and some key points of performance that I want you to pay attention to anytime you're squatting. So, whether it's just an air squat or a squat with weights, I always want you to think about keeping that midline nice and stable. So you're always going to hear people say the word keep midline stability. So what they're saying when they say that is you want that line going from the middle of your foot through your knee, through your hip, all the way up through your rib cage, through your shoulders, all the way through the top of your head. You want that nice straight line to maintain as straight as possible in any movement you're ever doing in the most manageable way possible. So when you're squatting, that's going to mean we're most stable where this line is. So I'm going to grab a PVC right here. This line is going to show me that I'm now most stable in this area. So right where this straight line is, cutting my body in half. So anytime I were to squat, I'm going to have to then counteract any of that motion by letting the knees go out, forward, the hips are going back. See how that's now keeping most of my midline weight over that center point. So keep this PVC in line. I'm not going to be able to hold it up by myself while I film this, but keep that in mind while we're doing this, guys. So first thing, when you want to find your squat position, a really good technique to find it, just start by hopping around really quickly. Get a good little hop going, land. Don't worry about where you're standing when you land, but then I want you to look down, angle your toes out at a 45, kick those heels back out, and then you can drop the toes back out at a little bit of a 45 or a little bit less, and that's going to be where your squat stance is. So mine is a little bit outside of my hips, and I usually like to make sure that my feet are nice and stable. Always think about having 4 points on the bottom of your foot. So I have my big toe, my baby toe, and both corners of my heel firmly planted on the ground at all times. A really good cue that my CrossFit coach uses is to corkscrew the feet into the ground. By doing that, so I have all 4 corners of my foot are firmly planted, I then corkscrew into the ground. What that's going to do is track my knees outward towards those outside corners of the room. We always want our toes to track out towards those outside 2 baby toes. That way we can ensure our knees aren't going to knock in and cause any issues with those hips or anything like that. So knees are always out, chest is always up, stomach is always nice and tight throughout that abdominal region. A huge cue that's going to change your squat is keeping those lower abdominals tight. So you're thinking about when you walk in the door and your dog's super excited and they jump up and pounce on your stomach right here and you bear down on that rib cage. That's what I want you to think about doing anytime you're doing any movement. We're nice and locked down. We're keeping that core nice and tight. I'm super stable throughout my lower abdominals. My whole rib cage is nice and tight. I'm not letting my back overly arch at any point, so my pelvis is in a good position. My rib cage is nice in a good, nice position. And from here, let me turn the other way. From here, what I like to do is I find a line. So on my garage gym floor, I have these mats, and there's just a natural line there where the 2 mats meet. So what I like to do is I'll line my toes up on that line to ensure that I'm in a good position. I then corkscrew those feet to the ground, ensuring all 4 corners are planted nice and solid. And then I like to still roll my shoulder blades down and back anytime before I start a movement. It just helps me keep that nice big chest so that I don't end up dropping my chest and rounding my shoulders. I have some scoliosis specifically between my shoulder blades, so I have sway back and then it curves around my shoulder blades, so I really like to make sure that pelvis is tucked, the shoulder blades are nice and back. That way I'm not in this funky, weird position with my spine. So I'm nice and stable through that midline. So again, knees are going out towards the corners of the room. My hips are going to think about sitting back. So I have this box here so that you can see the difference. Now, anytime you're squatting, her question was if she goes too low. So sometimes a bad squat can look like someone going down, everything's good, but then they get to the bottom and they do this little ducktail movement. They let their butt kind of fall in and they round a little bit, like kind of like a dog pooping. It's really, A, not attractive, B, not good for your body. So always stay nice and engaged. We can still break parallel. So parallel is, right where you have that straight line between the ground and the floor. Everything's nice and even. Below parallel is going to be below that knee crease. This is my preferred position for a squat. So my chest is up, my hips are back, my knees are out, but I'm not letting myself relax at the bottom. I'm staying nice and engaged. Okay? So from here, I always think about squeezing my glutes to come up. Let's go over those cues one more time since it kind of sounds like a jumbled mess. Again, this is my second video and I so appreciate y'all watching, and I promise I will get better at it. Promise. But line up on a straight line, all four corners of the feet are on the ground. I'm just corkscrewing those feet into the ground, letting those knees track out. Hips are gonna go back, chest is gonna stay up, tummy is nice and tight. I like to leave my arms up just so that I can ensure my chest isn't gonna dip as much. And from here, I corkscrew into the ground, hips back, chest up, keep that body nice and tight, my belly's nice and tight, and then squeeze my glutes to come up. All the way down, and then back up. So anytime you're squatting, again, I'm thinking about that nice straight spine. I'm gonna do my best to keep my chest up, keep my rib cage or my lower abdominals engaged and my rib cage down so that we don't have that excessive arch in the low back, so everything's nice and tight. And then just really focus on feeling that outside of the hip engage. So you want to make sure you feel your abductors, your medius, everything really engaging and interacting whenever you get into that squat. A really good way to practice this is even in your kitchen, say you're getting ready for dinner. Walk up, get in that position, find your footing, corkscrew the feet into the ground, keep that chest up, grab your counter, and then just slowly come on down and hold on to your counter for a little bit. And just hold it and get comfortable in that position, guys. And just learn to live here for a little bit. We want to be able to squat below the toilet one day. So that's why I'm training you and teaching you to squat below parallel. That way one day, God forbid you fall down off the toilet or you fall and slip off something, you want to be able to get off the ground. And if your body is only ever used to squatting, let's say to this position all the time, we've shortened those muscles to where they're not going to be able to help us get off the ground because they've only gone to this position. So if we can now train ourselves to go down on all the way back up, we have a better chance of, say if we fall, my hip is used to coming up out of that hip crease, so I have a better chance of being able to find something and standing up out of falling down if you're an older person, guys. So I hope that makes sense. That's why this is functional fitness, and this is why it's Wellness with Whitney. I'm hoping to help you reclaim your health because wellness can be within, guys. And I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. If you hit the little bell in the corner, he will remind you every time that I have a new workout. I will have a weekly workout posted, and then anytime you have questions, please send them my way, and we'll chat about them like this, and I will get better over time because God is good, and he's the one guiding me to do this, guys. So be blessed, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Love you guys. Mwah.